Hello, Regina. Welcome to Soul Stories.
Hello, Sarika.
Thanks for inviting us to Inner Space today. I know you keep a very busy schedule, so thanks for making time.
Oh, that's okay.
So I was hoping that you could start, first of all, by just telling us a little bit about your background. So what is it that you did before you started off on your spiritual path?
Well, it's quite a long story, but I will cut it short. I studied biochemistry, but while I was studying it, so it was interesting, I already realized it wasn't really giving me the answers I was looking for, and it was pulling me into quite a dark space, because while I was studying science, I was influenced a lot by those people who think science gives all the answers. And so I thought, well, God is not needed for the answers. But at the same time, I wasn't getting the answers. So I went into quite a dark space, actually, which I only realized when I came out of it, how dark it was. Because it was like 10 years of living close to depression. But I'm very glad now that I had these years, because I can sort of feel a bit like what many people maybe experience, who turn away from spirituality or from any sense of purpose or meaning in life or from God. And of course I didn't stay in that space, because I don't think I would have survived in the long term.
Yeah.
And so I actually got back into spirituality and eventually to a sense of there must be a higher being through Hatha Yoga.
And so was that the question that you were looking to find an answer for? Because I know you just mentioned biochemistry didn't really answer all of your questions. So what was it that you were looking for an answer for?
I wanted to know, what is the nature of man? How does man function? How come that we are conscious? These kind of questions. I remember reading philosophers, Bertrand Russell, I can't remember the title, but it was something, The Nature of Man.
Yeah.
But I wasn't actually very good at philosophy.
Right.
The words, it all seemed to be so complicated. Science agreed more with my sort of way of thinking.
Right.
But when I started Hatha Yoga, I found that spiritual language was more accessible, and that there were ways to somehow grasp truth or things through a different way of understanding, which comes from within.
Yeah.
So I was really interested.
So Hatha Yoga is kind of what got you started on this path. That's
Yes.
kind of your first stop, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
And then at some point you came across the Brahma Kumaris, obviously.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
Well, I was fascinated by some of the scriptures we were studying in Hatha Yoga. I was at that time training as a teacher of Hatha Yoga. And the feeling I got that India has answers. The scriptures of India, they are so amazing. And so I was going to go to Australia for a visit, so I thought, well, let me stop over in India and see if I can find
Some of
some
the
more
answers,
answers
yeah.
there. And actually I remember telling my friends, I'm going to India on a quest to find myself and to find God. I said that.
It's amazing to me that you actually thought you wanted to find God.
Yeah, but I had a longing to rediscover God. I was atheist in terms of my background, which was Christian, though I liked Jesus and everything. But I was open to that higher power, because when I was in my deepest hole, in my black phase, I had an experience which probably saved my life. And I couldn't deny that there was some power, some love out there, which or who was helping me.
And you discovered the Brahma Kumaris on your trip to India.
Yes, because meditation had already fascinated me.
Yeah.
And the Brahma Kumaris teach free meditation.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was attracted by that.
Yeah.
But if it's free,
Yeah.
why not try it?
Sure. Yeah, what's in there to lose, right?
Yeah. And it was recommended to me in India when I was sort of traveling around. So I thought, yeah, I'll take that course. And I never looked back. I just felt my questions are being answered here. And also, one thing I felt was that I had to somehow become more peaceful inside, because I used to be very angry and had problems in relationships because of that.
Yeah.
And no matter how much I tried to become happier and
Yeah.
change things in my life, the anger seemed to stay with me. And meditation is meant to make you more peaceful. So I had, through Hatha Yoga, improved a bit. But it took so long each time.
Yeah.
And with meditation, you can, in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you can really become so deeply peaceful and can do it anywhere.
I know that you talked a little bit about your, search itself. Would you say your search has ended?
Yes, I would say. It doesn't mean that I'm not interested in other things, but I know where my focus is.
So the search has actually ended because you found all the answers to whatever you were looking for. Because I sometimes wonder if the search actually ends or if it just changes, takes a different course, and you just find new questions that you want to get answers for. Or is there such a thing as a final, yes, it ends here?
Well, it ends here insofar as I found the practice which suits me. And so in spirituality, it's better to stick with one thing and practice that than to shop around all the time and not go into depths. So that's why I'm staying with this, and I've never regretted it.
Great, and you've obviously been with it for about 25 years
Yes,
now, you said. So we're here at Inner Space, and I know you spend a considerable amount of your time here at the shop. So tell us a little bit about what goes on here, what are some of your duties here, and then what do you do back at GRC?
Yeah, this is a meditation center with a little shop attached. So I sit in the shop sometimes, sell
And it's
books.
located conveniently in the heart of Oxford.
Yeah,
actually.
and anyone could walk in from all over the world.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. And there's often very spiritual people walking in because they're attracted by the energy and the title. So I find I converse with people of all sorts of different spiritual traditions, which I never had heard of, and countries I have to Google to find. So that is really lovely. But we also have lots of activities, courses, talks, afternoon seminars, and regular students. So the teaching aspect is actually a major part of Inner Space. And what we teach here is similar to what Global Retreat Center teaches, but we have shorter versions usually. But people in the city are busy people.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Inner Space is a more convenient version of the Global Retreat Center for people who are busier, who go to school or university and just need to pop in for. Okay.
Yeah, it's also easier to discover for tourists because tourists don't really get to Nunam Courtney much.
Right, that's true. So what is it that you do here at Inner Space? Do you have a particular area of focus? Do you sort of do all of the things that you just talked about? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I teach, I'm involved in the admin and planning events. I clean. It's a lovely variety. And the same in the retreat center. I help cleaning, I sometimes teach, I help in the garden, which I love.
Yeah.
So I feel I have a wonderful, balanced life. I'm so fortunate because I'm retired that I can actually devote
Yeah.
myself full time.
Yeah. And so what would you say, in all these years that you've been doing this, what would you say has been sort of the biggest gift that the spiritual path has given you? Or just your biggest realization? Or maybe the answer is, it's yet to come. Or
Well, so far, I trust more. The universe has become benevolent. I can see the love behind things and the meaning behind things, and so there isn't that despair, and there seems to be light,
yeah,
and there's hope.
yeah,
So, though I haven't really reached the end of my journey,
sure, yeah.
it's just beautiful to pursue this.
And I love that you said that the universe has become more benevolent, and I wonder if that's got something to do with ourselves being more benevolent as a result of this journey and becoming more full of trust and hope, and the universe just reflects it, doesn't it?
I'm finding that out, so I'm more cautious with my thoughts.
All right, on that note, thank you so much for taking time again, Regina. It's been a real pleasure speaking with you.
Oh, thanks, Sarika. I enjoyed it too.